Siri, what's happening at Perfection Auto Works this week?
You have 7 new clients, 2 oil changes, a major service, and 3 drivability problems, and an engine rebuild. And I have a question for you. My BMW is running rough. Can you fix it?
You have a BMW?
Not really, but even a disembodied computer voice can fantasize about a car that runs right.
You don't have to fantasize about your car running right. Just take it to Perfection Auto Works. We specialize in all cars, foreign and domestic, from belts, hoses, brakes, tires, air conditioning diagnosis, the whole enchilada. 323-8650, 323-8650, and perfectionautoworks.com.
The Hubble telescope computer is on the fritz. You can get the official Windows 11 today with the Insider program, Mac OS Monterey coming soon, and the best security suites by PC Magazine. All that and more next on The Computer Doctor Show.
You're listening to The Computer Doctor Show, your source for technology subjects affecting your business and personal life during this new normal. Your host is an award-winning office technician and IT specialist, author, tutor, ethical hacker, and recent winner on localbest.com as the best computer shop in Tucson. Broadcasting live, here's Aaron Moss.
Hello, Tucson and the podcast world. Welcome to another episode of The Computer Doctor Show, your headquarters for scam awareness, blockchain, science, and cutting-edge technology talk. This is episode 51. I'm Aaron Moss, your host. Good to have you with us every Saturday. And we post all of our shows and bonus content on computerdoctorshow.com. Again, computerdoctorshow.com. Our open lines, 520-790-2040. Feel free to call in anytime with your comments and questions and even complaints we can answer. Co-hosting today is David from the cast of The Unscrewed Theater. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me
Please
again.
throw me off the game.
Yeah.
My game today as much as possible.
I'll say all sorts of weird stuff at you, don't worry.
The Computer Doctor Show is sponsored by Perfection Auto Works, for all your cars need for over 30 years. 5-star reviews. See them on their website. We have a great show for you today, starting with some tech news this week. The Hubble telescope computer is on the fritz. So we're familiar with what the Hubble telescope is, right?
Yeah, so I figured they're just going to send a guy with a really big ladder up there with a tech kit. And
they did that. They already did that. And, maybe not the latter, but they sent some guys up there back in 2009. That's when the last service call was. And for some reason on June 13th, just a few weeks ago, the onboard computer shut down on the Hubble telescope. And this happened unexpectedly, obviously, but they're blaming degrading memory or power to the control unit is likely the issue.
Well,
so
you don't have to worry about rust up there.
No, but it's interesting that you say that because memory and power, are usually some of the biggest culprits when it comes to hardware issues,
right?
Overall, so if you have failing memory or failing power, that causes all kinds of problems. So that's kind of like a generic kind of overall
right
kind of thing that they have going in there. So that last service call again was in 2009. Now they say that the telescope itself and the science instruments, so we're talking about the lenses, the lighting, the measuring apparatuses that are on this spacecraft is still healthy and in safe configuration.
That's good.
So there's nothing wrong as far as that goes. But the astronauts deployed the Hubble Space Telescope from the Space Shuttle Discovery in 1990. So it's been up there 31 years. And the telescope has taken more than how many pictures do you think? Because
probably in the millions at this point.
1.5 million observations that were on there. So it's very, very interesting of what a success the Hubble telescope has been. We have a caller on call on line 1. Charles, how can we help you?
I think you guys missed the real story on the Hubble. That was a ransomware attack, and they just haven't gotten any response from the people inside.
Makes sense.
Well, if they sell each of the pictures for 1.5 million observations for $1 each, I think the Hubble telescope pretty much pays for itself.
That's very true.
Yeah, well, the problem is they just can't get any Bitcoin in space.
Right. There's hackers on Pluto right now who are very upset.
Yeah, they're upset that the government isn't a plutocracy. All right, I gotta go.
Thanks, Charles, for calling in. Also in tech news this week, Microsoft announced back on June 24th of the Windows 11 update from Windows 10 starting November of this year. Yes, what you thought would never happen has happened. Windows 11 is coming. Now, if you are willing to take some risks for yourself, you can actually jump into Windows 11 today with the Windows Insider program. Now, David, before the show, you said that you were able to mess around with Windows 11 on a virtual machine.
Yes,
at your job. Right?
Yeah, my workplace is part of the Insider program, so we downloaded Windows 11 onto a virtual machine, spun it up, and I got to play a little bit with it. First impressions was it seems to look and act a lot like Windows 10 so far, but there's definitely some surface improvements, and I'm definitely eager to see what's under the hood, but for that I'd probably have to work with it a bit longer.
Right, so obviously when Windows 10 was released, there was a bunch of glitches, there was a bunch of updates, lots of patches needed to happen very, very early on in the game, and no doubt that this is going to be happening with Windows 11. Some of the early adopters, such as David here, are calling it very light running. In other words, compared side by side with Windows 10, things would pop up a lot faster, things would run a little bit better. But that's just like you said, that's just like on the surface. So if you want to experience this and if you want to jump into the Windows 11 today, you can go to thecomputerdoctorshow.com, tap on episodes, and watch the video under episode 51. Also, in some other news, the Mac OS Monterey is coming soon. This is an Apple product, so Apple releases these things from time to time, these new operating systems. With the Monterey application, some of the features include a Share Play, which is just like FaceTime, but sharing videos, movies, and other content, so you can all watch together and listen together.
That's kind of a cool thing.
It's a cool thing. Now, I wish they would have had this like in the heyday of the end of the virus of COVID-19.
Yeah.
My friends and my family, we really, really wanted to watch movies and shows together. So there were lots of these different applications called watch parties.
Yeah, watch party apps.
So there was a Facebook watch party. There was a version. There was even a website that had like a YouTube watch party emulation on it.
It seemed like as soon as they popped up, though, all the big streaming networks, had Netflix and Hulu and all these, tried to shut it down because people were sharing stuff with their friends who didn't have accounts.
I'm sure that there's a legal caveat to that, because you can't. Who's to say that you're actually sharing the video feed with somebody overseas who's using it on a device to record and then to redistribute. So, there's the distribution problems of that. But then there's also the very practical things, because even if you're not doing it for monetary gain, if you just want to share it with your family that lives in other places, it's extremely hard to do. I actually tried to do it with Disney Plus. Disney Plus has a party view, or it's a group watch type of thing, but it only allows up to 7. Now, I had about 14 households.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, it was probably about 10 to 12 households, but definitely more than 7. So I really, really wanted to make it work. So at the last minute, I went on to Disney Plus. I bought a second account on a second computer. Okay, my wife was on one computer. She was standing by with the play button on one computer. I was on standby and hit the play button on the other. And we said 3, 2, 1, and we hit the play button at the same time. Now, what the problem is that anybody else that is watching on. Oh, by the way, everybody else has to have their own Disney Plus account in order to even watch. So everyone has to be a member in order for this even to work.
Right.
So we tried playing, but here's the problem. Anyone could hit the pause button or play button at any time.
Oh, geez.
And if just one person
then all of a sudden your 2 feeds are off, and
the 2 feeds are off, and it was a terrible experience. There was one movie that kept on starting over and pausing, and we couldn't figure out who was doing it.
It's just somebody's 2-year-old just like mashing all the keys.
I think that's what it was. But hey, we couldn't. But it's nice that this technology is developing, because more and more of sharing and watch parties, and that's what macOS Monterey is going to do. They also have this cool feature called Spatial. I want to call it. It's spelled SPATIAL. Spatial.
Spatial.
Maybe that is spatial audio. Spatial or spatial audio, and basically the way it is like if you're on a group like a group video conference and there's people all over your screen, if you have someone in your upper left corner of your screen is speaking, the sound coming from the computer is going to sound like it's coming from that corner, because that's where the person is on the screen.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And the same thing, then if the person in the lower right-hand corner starts talking, it'll sound like it's so it was meshed with the sound system of the computer with what you see on the video to make it sound like it's coming from that side of the screen. So that's like the spatial audio.
That's cool. I mean, there's been a lot of that in the past with even headphones now have kind of the built-in little
Dolby
channels
Surround, like the channeling. So I guess they're applying that concept to group messaging and to video chat. So
that's a neat idea. I mean, it certainly it'll eliminate that moment of like when someone new starts talking, you go, wait, who is that?
And also the FaceTime that is part of Apple. It used to be so that if you're trying to FaceTime somebody, the other side also has to have Apple.
Right.
So what Apple is trying to do, starting with Mac OS Monterey, is all devices. So
that's cool.
You could theoretically start a FaceTime using a generated link, and then any device would be able to get into it. So we're starting to see this morph of different different companies starting to morph their systems with other platforms. Okay, Windows was allowing Android and Amazon stores to run on Windows 11, for example, and now this latest Mac OS is allowing other platforms to use FaceTime.
It's about time. I mean, there's been all this separation between all that stuff. It's like, just break down the walls. Let's all work with each other.
I think they're starting to kind of come together, but then they're going to go opposite ways on something else.
As soon as somebody gets offended.
No, we're doing this, and you can do that, and we'll just stay.
I'm going to go off to my room and play with my toys.
Hey, we're going to take a nice little break on but when we come back, some tech anniversaries. Open lines 520-790-2040. You're listening to the Computer Doctor Show. We'll be right back.
Come on, man. Alexa, fix my car.
I don't do cars. Take it to Perfection Auto Works.
All right, give me Siri.
Why didn't you listen to Alexa? Perfection Auto Works has been wrenching cars, not wallets, since 1994. Go look at their shop. There are cars lined up around the block. What do their owners know that you don't? I am taking you right now to perfectionautoworks.com.
Yeah, what Siri said. This is Mike Emery from Perfection Auto Works. We do brakes, oil, tires, alignment, general maintenance, major services, and vehicle restorations, all cars, foreign and domestic. Call Perfection Auto Works today, 323-8650. That's 323-8650, or perfectionautoworks.com. The world's best auto repair shop.
Mike, don't let being best give you a swell head.
Ugly Goose Car Rental is new in Tucson, providing a low-cost auto rental alternative for just $100 per week. The only catch? The cars are ugly, but very safe and reliable to get you to work, school, shopping, and all your important appointments. To reserve your $100 a week car rental, call Ugly Goose Car Rental at 520-261-0439. Again, 520-261-0439.
Computer Doctor of Tucson is the best choice in desktop support in Tucson. They fix error messages, power and boot problems, install of software and hardware, and much more. You can come to them, or they can come to you, or even have a remote support session so they can fix your issues over the phone quickly. Give them a call at 261-5508, 261-5508. Visit them on the web at computerdoctortucson.com. Computer Doctor of Tucson, because technology is great when it works.
Welcome back to the Computer Doctor Show, your source for scam awareness, blockchain, science, and cutting-edge technology talk. I'm Aaron Moss, your host, along with David here from the cast of The Unscrewed Theater. Before we start into our second segment, David, what can you tell us about The Unscrewed Theater?
Oh, boy. So we have very exciting news. Tonight is going to be our first launch of our live stream shows from the Unscrewed stage. We will have actors in the theater, on the stage, interacting with each other, and we are going to be live streaming it tonight. Please go to unscrewedtheater.org, sign up, get on there. It is a free show still, and you will actually get to see us perform from the stage. There won't be a live audience in there. There will maybe a few cast and crew members sitting there.
I want proof that you're actually physically there. So somebody on stage has to like smack somebody else like on the stage, just to know that
just to prove that we're all in the same room.
Yes, absolutely. So we can get that done.
So we're very excited about that.
All right. Excellent. Good to know. Now, Tom Fairbanks was actually nice enough to inform us of the James Webb Telescope. So that has actually not been launched yet. So these are some very exciting times. The Hubble Telescope might be either this time or very soon be what we call BEER. Now, I think this is it's an Air Force term where it's BER, which stands for Beyond Economical Repair, meaning it would cost more to repair the thing than it would be to have it completely replaced. And I think this might be what the James Webb Telescope is going to be. So we'll have some more information about that on a later show. But here are some tech anniversaries for this week. Actually, 3 notable tech anniversaries happened on July 1st. July 1st, 1979, the Sony Walkman was introduced. So that was 42 years ago. Actually, Tom was telling us before the show he had this other thing where he looked like he was on this airplane. He looked like he was from the future because he was like the only person wearing headphones and listening to music. Through, and people, oh my goodness, who is this guy? You know, what's he all about? But Sony Walkman, 42 years old.
I remember the old Discman. That thing, I didn't let go of that in high school. I was always listening
to music. Discman, yes, that's where you had the CDs.
The CDs, yeah.
By the way, do you know how those the shock absorbent, how the shock resisting things would work? So you could actually be playing a disc, and you can shake the thing, and it wouldn't skip.
I used to put it in my pocket, so I'd be walking while listening to that, and I was pretty amazed by the fact that it didn't skip.
Come to find out, the skipping technology had nothing to do with stabilizing the laser. It had to do with it just oversampling 16 seconds or 8 seconds of music ahead of what you're playing. It was just an early type of buffering. You know, when you're playing a video, that's buffering. That's all it was doing. It was just an early version of buffering.
That's phenomenal. You know what? I love the solutions people come up with for these things.
But then, so any of you out there that are always looking for, watching your videos and you see that little circle going on, all it's doing is buffering. See, YouTube does that. A lot of the modern players inside of a PC still do buffering. So it's a very old technology that still gets utilized today. Also, July 1st, 2003, 18 years ago, Tesla was founded. Tesla was founded July 1st, 2003, and they've put out, I forget how many cars per year, but I remember reading something in an article, 200,000 Tesla vehicles are either being made per year or that was like their total production, but that sounds about right, maybe per year.
Yeah, and Elon Musk, when you hear this radio broadcast, feel free to donate 1 or 2 Teslas to me and Aaron here, just to celebrate that anniversary.
We want those cars, but we're gonna have to figure. There are people online that are telling us all these stories about owning their Teslas. It is such a difficult thing to mentally block out gas stations. So like when your dashboard on your Tesla is starting to read low charge,
Right.
you instinctively start looking for a gas station, but a gas station
Right.
can't help you.
No.
You have to look for a charging station, which is a whole nother grid of places.
I
And
imagine
you
I'll
may,
start memorizing all the ones in town.
you may even be in a city where there are no chargers. Okay, so just be careful out there if you're thinking about getting a Tesla. Also, July 1st, 1874. July 1st, 1874, 147 years ago, the QWERTY keyboard was invented.
Oh.
Okay, I'm going to say that again. The QWERTY keyboard. So we call it the QWERTY keyboard because the word QWERTY, if you look at your keyboard, okay, and you look at the letter Q, and you read across that top line, it spells out the word QWERTY. And that's where the QWERTY comes from. So if you've ever wondered why the keyboard was laid out that way, it was actually laid out because typists at the time, there would be certain letters that they would use very, very often. Now, the language, Old English, which is what was back in 1874, Old English to Modern English, a whole nother library of words,
Right.
a whole new library of spellings. So the words that they were used to typing before may be very, very difficult or very, very different now. I think we're due for a new design.
Well,
of
there
keyboard.
was somebody who attempted to put a new design in that was supposed to be more efficient, and it didn't catch on because QWERTY was too popular. Do you remember the Dvorak, or however you say that keyboard?
Nope.
It's a Dvorak. If you look that up, it's an alternate. It's supposed to be even more efficient than QWERTY, but I guess just due to the fact that it wasn't popular enough and people didn't want to learn a whole new keyboard.
Old habits die hard. That's
yeah,
right.
exactly.
All right. Well, another anniversary for the QWERTY keyboard 147 years ago. Yeah. This next part is the best security suites by PC Magazine. So every year, PC Magazine and other technology periodicals and journals, they do their own leveling of different types of software. So when it comes to security suites, PC Magazine looked at 20 different software suites, not just softwares, but suites of software. So
Right.
when we're talking about some of these software, you can buy like a security suite, but it's not one program. It's like five programs,
Right.
10
It'll have your
programs.
antivirus, anti-spyware, anti-ransomware, check for keyloggers, and then also monitor your all
Your
the
brow-
websites you go to.
and then the browser,
Yeah.
there's the browser add-on, and then the email add-on, and
Yeah.
all this other stuff. So we're talking complete suites. So the ones that seemed, in my book, by the way that this report went through, was Kaspersky. Kaspersky actually came out pretty good. It came up as best lab test scores, the best multi-device security for multi-device households, and also the best for parents. So there's a lot of parental controls on those.
Yeah.
So again, that was Kaspersky. Also on the list was Bitdefender. Bitdefender was the best for the wealth of bonus features and unusual bonus features. So if you're trying to do something very, very specific, or you're trying to do something that maybe other programs don't have the features for, if there are features specifically that you're looking for your security, you might want to try out Bitdefender. Norton was also on the list as the best VPN and used for best privacy.
Okay.
So VPNs, as we know, virtual private network, allows you to encrypt your internet connection, so that people that are looking at your traffic, all they'll see is gibberish.
Right.
But your real connection is sourced someplace in the data center, someplace else in some virtual node somewhere.
Except the NSA, they can still get you.
They'll find a way.
Oh, yeah.
It won't be through the encryption side. It'll be through some other. There's all kinds of ways outside of the encryption to get you, and there's all kind of vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
But if you're doing something private, don't count on it. WebRoot and Trend Micro are also on that list. But for a complete list of the PC report, go to thecomputerdoctorshow.com, tap on episodes, and click the link under episode 51. We just want to thank David for being here with us. My name is Aaron Moss, your host and technology expert, co-hosting today, David. Tom Fairbanks is at the control board. Listen to The Computer Doctor Show with new episodes every Saturday. Stay safe, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll talk to you again next week.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of The Computer Doctor Show. If you missed any part of this live broadcast, we post all our episodes online at computerdoctorshow.com. Remember, the world is getting more and more tech, and so should you. To stay current with technology, listen to The Computer Doctor Show each week for local and global tech insights. If you have suggestions for a topic on a future show, send us an email at info@computerdoctorshow.com.